Yeah. Hate me 'cause I tell you the truth. Maybe your friends are confused. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Go ahead and go. Baila, baila, baila. Go. Baila, baila, baila.
Blogger, artist, stewardess, rebel, DJ, outlaw, engineer, scholar, fashion blogger. I feel like a lot of people don't read it right, or they don't get it. They just don't know. Like, an anti-socialite is not antisocial. Like, you see us out, right? Yeah, we're out. We just in the cut. You're not gonna get everything at once from us. We're not showing it all. We are on the scene. What we represent is just basically like the bridge between the culture and the scene.
Give a fuck what you say. Give a fuck what you say. In the club, I wrote this for the plug.
Enitan Bereola with us live in Miami. What's up?
What's up? How are you?
Great.
Cheers. We're gonna do a little toast.
Yeah,
We
let's
should totally
do
do a
it.
What are we toasting to?
Toasting to life. There's no sun
It's not
outside.
specific.
Come on, a great life,
But I got
success.
sunglasses on.
Yes.
No
Sorry
sun
you
outside.
couldn't
We're gonna
experience.
toast to the sun coming out, so that it's a reason why he has on these sunglasses.
Exactly.
But the light in here is shining,
Yes,
so
yes.
it's okay.
And we're gonna keep this episode interesting because we feel
Right.
like you're an interesting person to
Yeah.
interview.
I didn't know what to expect. You know, the gentleman. I thought you were gonna be like
You got that gonna be stuffy?
A little bit.
Really? You too?
A little.
Wow.
A little.
Yeah, that's what's crazy to me because that's exactly what I'm not. You know, so that's why I wrote the first book to, like, you know, let people know that you can literally be yourself. You don't have to be like, I didn't come up. I mean, shout out to the bow tie. I like it's clean. You know what I'm saying? And
Shout
I
out
do
to
get.
Nick.
I'll get. You know, it's really about knowing how to maneuver and when to maneuver in specific environments, but really maintaining your own thing. I also thought that was important. Like, I don't really subscribe to, like, you gotta do this and you have to speak this way. It's like, you know, people communicate and move in different ways, and the most important thing you can be is yourself. So I always find it interesting when people say they expected something different. I'm like, damn, what type of content do I put out where you expect
Right.
something different? Do I appear to be like stuffy or?
No, not at all.
It's just what you assume. Like a gentleman, he has to pull out a chair and he has to look like this.
And that all still stands though. So that's the thing. Like,
the chivalry.
yeah, that's all still there. That's all still very real. But that doesn't necessarily always look a certain way, and it doesn't always, like, you know, hello, how are you?
But
My name
that's
is Enitan.
the
It's such a pleasure
problem.
to meet you. Yeah,
That
that's
people associate a look to how you're supposed to act as a human. Just natural qualities that you should have
yeah.
to when you interact with different people. People
Yeah.
put a look on it, like even with sororities or fraternities and things like
You're
that.
sorry?
We're both sister.
What y'all?
It's the first and the finest. There's nothing else to talk about. You don't have to.
Look at your boy, right? Look at these boys, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
First and-
Yeah, you just.
Serious.
Mhm.
But
Shit.
So
it's
we're
all
all
those things.
We're all
like,
products of HBCUs.
Mhm.
You went to FAMU,
Shout out to FAMU.
Yeah.
Rattlers,
Rattler.
yes.
which we both brought up. We said, what is it about FAMU that brought all these? Because there's so many graduates that are in
Right.
creative industries. Like, you have down
There
here,
are.
you have
It's
Rico
interesting.
Love,
Yes.
Felicia Monet
yes.
on 99
We
Jam.
went to school with all of them.
You got Fly Guy, you got
Yeah.
you. It's like, what was it that attracted you to that school?
It's my brother. Like, it was crazy. I came up in a time where, like, a lot of my family members were entrepreneurs, and I'm totally, as you can see, I paint with my own brush. I, like, curve my own lane. I don't want to do anything anybody else is doing, right? So my brother was going to FAMU, and I was like, I'm not going to FAMU. You know, I'm going to Hampton. I'm going to more. I'm going.
go there.
You want to go Hampton?
I did.
I'm going somewhere, but I'm not going there because he's there, right?
Okay.
And then I went to go visit.
He's like, it's lit.
We went to go drop him off on the set. I was sold like that. It was. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. It
So
was
the campus
amazing.
drew you
It
to
was
it.
yes.
Mm.
Like, I'd never seen that type. It was all that. Those black folks just, like, in one area, knowing that they're in college though. Like, they all look different. They didn't look like, you know, they weren't all like studious. You had so many different array of black folks, but they were just like, it was dope. I've never seen anything like that. I didn't know it. I knew it existed, but I didn't know it looked like that.
How did your college experience shape what it is that you're doing now? I guess all the young ladies you met in college.
Well, not even just that. I mean, I think as far as the grit and the determination, and, like, I wasn't always a person that's like, because what I do and what anybody successful, you know, does, you you need some sort of attention or grit, or like you need like the huge amount of discipline, and you have to have like your mind wired a certain way, and you know, no doesn't really mean no to you. Not in that way, because I know there's all these like sexual assault.
Shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross with Handies, man.
Yes. I don't mean anything like that, but in a sense where like, no, you can't do this. No, that's impossible. No, you can't do this that way. You know, you can't be a black man and do this. Etiquette belongs in this thing. Nobody's gonna read, like, it doesn't mean anything. I have a vision. I see what it looks like. The way I developed that was FAMU, because we went to HBCUs and like, it's not run right. HBCUs are flawed. The faculty, the administration, just, you know, like financial aid. You know, you need to get your class. You don't just like go online and sign up. Nah, it's like a day's worth of activity.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you're
like
sitting there and you gotta be cool with somebody so that you could get in. And
you
like,
talk to the lady. The lady tells you to go like.
No. I mean, I didn't experience the whole class situation.
The lady goes to. Of course you did. Did you go to HBCU?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Claflin University
in South Carolina.
I don't know. It's usually
maybe it's a Florida HBC.
Nah, it's running rampant. It's all over. Like we all relate. That's why like even regardless if it's Howard, Hampton, we all got love because we know the struggle. Mm-hmm. But that's what developed like my grit. That's what made me like know that I could do anything. Once I left there, I was like, yo, there's nothing I can't. I went through they put us through the fire. Mm-hmm. Like I learned way more outside of the classroom than I did inside. I think a lot of us have, and they really like reinforced the school of business there, you know, like working in corporate America, that was their thing. Okay. And they funneled a lot of people there, but a lot of people realized that's not what they wanted to do. A lot of people quit those jobs and now they're like in LA doing movies, in LA doing photography worldwide, you know what I'm saying? Like writing, doing music, doing all this cool stuff because we realized that, you know, we were following our parents' dreams, you know, like the generation that did go to college and they were the first in their generation to go and get these good jobs. We want to do the same thing. Like this doesn't really fit the vibe. This doesn't fit the vibe.
Right.
We talk about this all the time. Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna do what I want to do.
You know, it's the discussion now is that is college even worth it? Especially if you know you want to be in a creative field.
Just had that conversation.
But on the other end, you just noted that the experience made you who you were rather than just the education itself. So I think we still have to encourage people to go for all different reasons.
Absolutely. I think it's important to vocalize that though, because I mean the guys who were my wedding, my best friends, all of my relationships for the most part, it's like it's college based. You know what I mean? And my wife, like so much of my life is rooted in that. Okay. Outside of like the education.
And that's the thing, like you pay for the experience when you're in college. You're not actually paying for the books or the lessons or the teachers because teachers don't really teach you. They tell you to read the book, read the chapters, you do it on your own. So you could totally go online and buy those books and study yourself, but most of us don't have the discipline to do so. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. That was the best times of my life. College was amazing, straight up. You know, for so many reasons it developed. It was the first time. I'm from San Jose, California, so.
Which I'm super excited. I finally have a Bay Area representative on the Anti-Socialites podcast.
So you gotta think like I'm uprooted and I'm putting this like sea of black folks and like it's the first time I'm ever experiencing this in my life. I don't even know how to maneuver. So every day was new. Every day I was like trying to adapt. So I was growing like all the time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So imagine what that does to somebody who's just forced to grow. It brought like me out of me.
So, I can relate to that.
Yeah. After college, you graduate. What do you do there after you go back?
No, I actually didn't graduate.
Okay, so here's another thing. I didn't know if you graduated. I assumed a lot of people that went to FAM did not graduate. They're successful, but they were like, you know what? I want to, and that's that creative or that rebel in them that's like, okay, this is not where I'm trying to go. I want to just go and do my own thing. And struggling in HBCUs, I know I can do that. So what was your first step? Like, what was the first thing that you did?
Well, first of all, I struggle with not graduating because it's like your parents' dream. They put you there and all that stuff.
Especially you're having Nigerian.
So you went through all that straight up, you know. But I mean, now they're like the biggest supporters, and you know, they're just so impressed with everything going on and so proud. But you know, it was like I had this conversation really quickly. Backstory: I had a conversation with a faculty member. And there was something going on with the classes. They couldn't get me in the right class. I was like 7 credits away from graduating. It was like right there, you know. And the lady told me that now we can't fix this, whatever this thing is, that you have this issue. I looked in her eye and I said, I mean no disrespect by this, but I'm telling you that in like 2, 3, 5 maybe years, you're gonna want to say that this guy graduated. You're gonna want to claim me and say that this guy graduated, he's one of us. You may think I'm crazy, right? I'm looking you right and I'm telling you this. If you don't help me, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. She said, there's nothing I could do.
Wow.
I said, cool. So for a long time, I had like this really weird relationship with FAMU because, you know, they raised me in a way and they inadvertently taught me so much outside of the classroom, but they weren't there when I needed them to be there. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't claim them for, like, people say, you went to FAMU? I was like, yeah.
I did.
So here's the thing. You said, no, this is HBCU and fam raised you. But that's kind of like the black family. Like, they'll raise you. And when you get to 18 is when you're, like, lost. You don't know what your next step is. Like, you want to be grown, but then most of the time it's like, you got to get a job or you got to get out of here.
Right.
How, like, do you see the connection? Like, did you even think about that?
Now, the thing about an HBCU, it is very much like that because faculty feels like family there. Like somebody's your uncle up in the Foothill building. You know what I'm saying? Like you recognize these people, these characters. It's like, oh, that's like Uncle such and such. That's like my aunt, my grandma there. It's like, you know. And they weird, like a lot of it, you know, even the way it's done, it's kind of parallel to how things are done in the church sometimes. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain just black, it's very black. You know what I'm saying? Which is dope. But also, it can be a disadvantage in some ways for some of the stereotypes that are against us, like maybe some of the, I don't know, maybe not being organized or not handling paperwork right or not handling the money the right way and stuff like that actually trickle down and affected the students. But I'm not here to bash, man. FAMU, I got so much love, you know. I got so much love for FAMU. I bring people there all the time. I tell people about them. They book me the most out of it. Any universities, you know what I'm saying? I saw my name listed like on their website, you know, like under like
alumni, like celebrity alumni, or
and they use the word. I told the lady that they're gonna want. I know, you know what I'm saying? Like I know, like I live, like today I'm in like 2035. You know what I'm saying? I don't live. I try to be present, but I be gone. I come back and I be like, this is what's going on. I've always been. I mean, when you said that, I was like, what's he talking? But I totally understand it. Like I'm always like, and that just means I'm forward thinking. I'm visionary. Like I don't be here all the time, right? So I knew what I was saying wasn't crazy. She just couldn't accept it. And I saw that lady. I saw her at homecoming one time at Cafe Cabernet, and I told her. You know, and she did not remember me.
Recognize
but she was happy.
So many of you there.
Right.
I don't think she was familiar with me like that, but she was just happy in the sense that, you know, I showed her and stuff. I said, it was your job. I don't have any ill will, but I did have an issue with the university for some time, and you know, it's because of you.
All right. So
let's turn that around.
But this I promise it's love.
It's not bash, no, because you go back and we're a product
I've been
of
tweeting FAMU for no reason. They'll just say FAMU. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I got love. Period.
So how do we get into the series of your books? So Bereola was your first of a three-part series. How did we get to that point after college? Not graduating. Where did you go from there, and how did that idea come? Where I'm going to put out a best-selling book.
That sounds cool. That sounds so cool. So I had a mentor of mine who would always say like he has this cool business idea for me, and he would always kind of like tell me that I'm going to tell you whenever you're ready to hear it and this and that. I was like, cool. And like a year passed and he still didn't tell me. I'd ask him about it, he didn't tell me. And then one day we were at a clothing store in Atlanta, and they had books up front at the clothing store. And I picked one of the books up, How to Be a Gentleman by John Bridges, and I was flipping through it. And I was about to purchase it, and he started laughing. I was like, what are you laughing at? He said, you remember that business idea I told you about? Looked at the book, looked at him, looked at the book. It's like, are you serious? That's what you wanted me to do? You want me to write a book, bro? Like, I thought you were going to be like, get me on a presidential campaign or like build this big old empire. And he was just saying that, you know, after hanging out with you for so long, being the homie, and then having the business mindset, I really feel like your lifestyle is marketable. I was like, what? Yeah, this was like 2006 or something like that.
So he was still kind of ahead of the curve.
He's definitely ahead of the curve.
This is before being a brand was a thing.
Oh my gosh, no, that was way before all that stuff. Way before. So that's what he said, and I was just like, you know what? Since you said it, let's do it. If anybody else would have said the same thing that he said, I wouldn't even remember that they said it. It would have went in one ear out the other. I would have forgot that it happened. And that's the power of, like, in my opinion, like, God moves through people. So that's the power of, like, obedience and just not being afraid if you feel something on your heart to tell it to somebody. Because you never know how it's going to affect somebody and change their life. If he didn't tell me that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Not for this reason. I mean, maybe I don't know.
Well, what do you think you've been doing if you didn't write that book?
I mean, I was in IT, you know, I was good. I used to intern at like Hewlett Packard at 16 years old. You know what I'm saying?
You were in the area for that.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I would do like, you know, I would always do these really, like, the only black kid to do this, so I was in my bag, you know what I'm saying? But
Philly term.
Is it?
It is.
Okay, y'all got I was in my bag, paying homage, you know. But I wasn't. Every time I'd be in a cubicle, I feel like I was in prison, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew that I was good at it, but I was like, it didn't feel, the connection wasn't there. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I had more to offer. You know, I was like, I can't be like this fly for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I'm the older, and I said that in where I was like, I feel like, damn, I hella gotta subdue myself up in here. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on a fly ass suit. You know, and they used to say like, yo, you don't have to.
Chill out.
I'll be having like CEO, you know, getting compliments every day, and people just have on like their slacks and stuff. Like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Like, this is what I thought it looked like, but I just had more. It was more than just. I had more to offer. Like, I was like this, like ready to bust, and I was just okay. Let me just sit here and do this. But I was like, I know I got more. I didn't know what that looked like. I always knew. I used to literally practice my autograph. It like I perfect the same autograph I sign now. I signed like in the 4th grade, and I signed it like I made sure that it looked a certain way because I knew I'd be using it.
Yes.
I practiced an award speech. I said, I wonder what I'm gonna say for my speech. For what though? I don't sing. I don't do none of that stuff. I don't have any talent that you know get you an award. But I knew. I'm telling you about that. I live in the future. I knew I would get an award. I knew that, like, and I never shared this stuff when it sounds crazy as hell. Like, why would I share that with somebody? People think I was crazy, right? But there were always these things that I knew and I planned for in my own self, you know what I'm saying? And I eventually executed. And when people saw it, they're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, dude, I'm not surprised. Like, I knew this stuff was going to happen.
So you just said the execution. So your friend gave you the idea.
Yes, he gave me the idea.
Doing it, though, how hard was that? Because
it was very difficult. It was, you know, there weren't a lot of platforms during the time to, like, you could self-publish like that nowadays. During that time, it was a difficult landscape to traverse. Like, nobody really knew. It was like this ghost world, right? How do you do it? You know, I'm this young guy, like, black. How am I supposed to, 25? Like, how do I get this thing done? And, you know, my friend passed away. So I was left to kind of, you know, do this thing myself. And the ironic thing about that is, originally the book was supposed to be ghostwritten, and I was like the face of it. Because I wasn't even like, I didn't think I was a writer. Not that I didn't want to write it, but he was just like, this is how it's going to be set up. I was like, oh, I thought I was a writer, whatever, you got it. You know what I mean? So God worked the whole situation out in his own way to where I was forced to do this thing. Like I was forced to confront my gift.
Were you like writing a journal, or you just like opened a laptop or a notepad? Like what?
I mean, I knew how to write. You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother was a English major. She was a speech pathologist before she retired, and she would come home and give us aptitude tests, all her kids, you know? So she would always like, yeah, man, she would always like just elevate us and just give us all these interesting tests. And so we were very proficient with English. I mean, English was like physical education to me. Easy A. It was like art. It was like whatever. It's easy A. I don't have to try. So my teachers even sometimes would say, yo,
somebody helped you.
If you really apply, no, like you're really good and stuff like that. You know, I was like, whatever, where these girls at? You know what I'm saying? It was a bell ringing. And, you know, it was just something that was very natural. And then, like 2 years ago, I found all this work from college of like pages of stuff I've written. I didn't even realize I wrote. It's like, what the hell was I doing right? You know, like freshman year, trying to find yourself and all that. You go through random stuff, and I guess it express yourself in your own way. And I looked at it, I was like, damn, this is really good. Like, what the hell? I had no idea. I could like put this out now, or like I'm gonna archive. I'm gonna do something with it because it's like really good. Like how was I thinking like that at that age? You know what I mean? So it was always there. The gift was always there. It was just a matter of me confronting it.
So we get to the second book, A Gentlewoman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, from a standpoint of a woman, because I read the reviews. I haven't read your book yet, which we plan on doing.
I want to read all 3.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always that stigma.
Me too. I want to read them too. They're excellent.
There's sometimes
I read the 3rd book one time. Crazy. Recently.
Well, it's just like we don't always listen back to
exact same
episode.
thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I was there.
Yeah, I was there. I prepared for it. But so etiquette for a lady. I think you've noticed this. Sometimes as Black women, we don't like to be told what to do, and I don't feel like your book is that way.
Mm-hmm.
But did you ever become hesitant about how I'm gonna write this and people are gonna accept it?
Oh yeah, I'm very aware. Like I didn't want to write it. You know, I fought it. That book came out in 2013, December 17th. And the first one was April 24th, 2009, so it was a big gap.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I had to write it. I didn't want to do it because of exactly what you said. I didn't want that. This was before Black Twitter and feminists, like being very vocal on Twitter. I didn't want that. I didn't want that smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I knew what it was before it became a thing. I just didn't want it, and it was like a big responsibility. But that's how I knew I had to do it because it was so great. You know, it was such a challenge, and I was so resistant that like when I feel like super resistant to something that's great, I know I have to walk toward it.
Like it makes you feel uncomfortable enough where you're like,
I had to do it.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to. I fought it for years, and I was like, I got to do it. I just had to like really hone in and like really figure out a way to craft the message in a way that would be receptive, but still be honest. I have to be honest, but I have to make sure that it's received.
How did you go about researching and putting the book together?
I mean, I had lots of research.
I was gonna say life experience.
A lot of research there, but also the dope ass woman in my life, you know, who I would look at from a new lens, and after doing the research, you know, I mean, I always had like held women in a high regard and had the ultimate respect for them, but after going through the process of writing it and still not knowing, because I don't want to be and never will be in your shoes. I'm me, you know what I'm saying? I'm a man, I'm me. But just taking a peek from your lens and your perspective, I was shocked at what I saw. Mm-hmm. Even knowing the way I was raised and what I already know, I was like, yo, women are like, specifically Black women are the most like, gosh, man. I mean, how do y'all even wake up in the morning and like get out of bed and like do anything with all the weight that's on you and all that's against you? It's like I couldn't believe it, you know, from like just watching an advertisement on TV and like, damn, that's hella just, dude, that's a sexist ad. Oh my gosh, look at all that patriarchy. Yo, do you see all that? And it's just a real basic ad, but it's just so subconscious, like pushing all these. I was like, damn. So when I'm like looking at books, magazines, I couldn't look at anything the same. I was like, oh my God, how do y'all do it?
Right.
This is crazy. Like, there's a war waged against y'all every day.
Every day.
Like, it's crazy, just like, I was shocked, and I was like, yo, I gotta say something now. You know, like, once I really saw it from you all's eyes. So, I just told the truth. My whole process is about telling the truth. And I was like, it's not about bigging y'all up. It's not about trying to elevate. I'm literally just gonna tell the truth. And the truth is naturally gonna elevate y'all and naturally big y'all up. I'm not kissing up. I'm not trying to gain. No, I'm in a relationship. I don't need none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to win, you know, like women's approval.
Right.
I'm just trying to do what God called me to do. And I want y'all to see yourselves the way I see you. You know what I'm saying? So that's literally what the process was like for me. And the research was just again, like connecting with the women that I do know and going on tour after the first book and having this audience of women and hearing them, you know, all across the world, you know what I'm saying? And like a barrage of emails and just inbox messages on social media every day, all the time, like conversations, just real life connecting and hearing your voices and being like, damn, like I need to formulate something and put something together because there's so much here, and I think I can say it in a way that can connect, and it did.
And that research seems so like common sense worthy, but I think some people approach things like that, like how do I prepare myself for this next venture? How do I prepare myself for this new idea? And you said it, I listened, I spoke to people, I touched the people, basically, and women were your market for that. And it shows, just because like I said, I haven't read it, but the reviews are like, wow, I was hesitant, but when I read it,
I knew that would be the case.
I felt like he really understood where I was coming from.
Right, and I even marketed it in a way, I mean, the book, you know, Etiquette for a Lady could have just been it, but Comma from a Gentleman changes everything. That now ignites the who the hell is this guy in you.
Yes.
But it was on purpose.
Right.
Like the book cover features a black woman who doesn't appear to be black until you turn it around and you see, oh, she is black. You know, she's mixed, but she's black on purpose. I want you to look at that book and let it be a mirror. If you're judgmental, if you're critical, if you overthink it, I want you to by the time you turn the end of the page, like, let your shoulders loose a little bit. Like, damn, not just the content. Before you even open the book, I want you to see yourself. I want you to judge it. I want you to be like, who is this guy? I want you to be like, hell nah, another dude trying to tell another. If that's how you are, that's what I want you to say. Because when you're done, you ain't gonna be saying that.
Talking about what we're just talking about, you quoted, I say your legacy is being worn down, watered down. What does that mean? What made you say that?
I mean, if you were to like look at a museum in 100 years, you know, a woman in a museum, like, what's there gonna be? Are you gonna have like the truth in there, or your grandkids and great grandkids gonna know? Like, we don't even understand what a woman is. Like y'all, like we continue to cut you short and cut you down and throw this at you and blame you for this. And I'm starting to see just now there's like, I don't know where we're going with it, but there for sure is an uprising of the disenfranchised in general, those who've been marginalized, and women. I mean, you see it again with all these claims of sexual assault from like 20, 30 years ago. Women are finding their voice. Like, we're looking at that like, a lot of people looking at it like, this is crazy, that was so long ago. Nah, like you cut you like muted them years ago. You cut her head off years ago. She's just now able to like rise from that. Yes. You know what kind of power you know how great she feels to get that burden. You know what that means? Like, take that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, forgive me, but like, you know, you changed, you know, further down the line, cool, but you're a different man now, cool. That was you then, you were on drugs, whatever. You still did it. You know what I'm saying? You shoot somebody, murder somebody, turn into a pastor later, you still murder somebody. You still had to pay that debt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be held accountable. So, you know, it's a thing where your legacy is like, it's what you leave behind, but if we don't respect you now, then imagine what the future looks like.
So men don't respect women, and then now it's come to the point where women don't respect themselves.
Or men.
Right.
So look what that looks like.
So it takes away from the man being the man.
It's a happy world.
Like, it leaves us in a place of disarray because we don't know what's
happening. That's why I wrote. That's why I write. That's why I'm trying to get us.
Because
when you cut through the BS, it's like we all want the same stuff. You look at my group text with the homies that are single and stuff, like, they communicate the same things that women communicate. Oh, I want this and I'm ready for it. You would never know it though, because they don't. When they go out, they don't wear that.
Right.
They don't. When they approach you, they're not. That's not what they're saying. But that's what they want.
Or that there's that ego that blocks.
There's a lot, but that can be even the ego could be reflected based off of what they assume the lady wants, or so it's miscommunication. It's just a bunch of like coming into a room and you're just trying to filter your way through to get to what y'all both want.
Right.
When all you just really need to do is just show up because y'all both want each other. Let's start there. So I try to write in a way that like cuts through all of that and just like this is what we want. This is what it is. Let's get back to just normal life. You know what I mean?
What do you think social media has what part do you think is played in the miscommunication of both species at this point?
That's the greatest way to miscommunicate over like text or social. You know what I'm saying? It's not personable. Like, I used to have to approach a young lady and like write her name on write her number on my hand with a pen. you know, the courage it takes as a young guy to like see a woman that you're attracted to.
And that woman sees your reaction, feels like the vibe.
It's you got it. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't. It's a 50-50 shot. You might be rejected, but you still gotta go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like all you gotta do is send that DM and get ghosted. Nobody like it was scary, but it builds your confidence because it's like whatever. I'm just gonna go. You know what I'm saying? I learned different ways to pick up on cues. I'll look at her a certain way, see if she. Now I know that. You know. Now I know to approach her. So it takes away from a lot, you know. It's a good tool like a gun, you know, for protection, but guns also kill. You know, it's like how do you use the tool? But you know, beyond that, we've come to the point where you can't go to dinner, you can't go to like we're talking about concerts, you can't go to anything, church. I see people at funerals on their phones and stuff.
Super weird.
Weddings and funerals, y'all. Yeah. Like, come on, I mean,
it's a special occasion.
If you can't respect that. What are we like? It's I don't.
And it's not even like they might be a great person, but their sensitivity to like what's appropriate.
Yeah,
that's why
That's why I write to remind and to inform. You know what I'm saying? Like and the stuff that I write about, it's not like it's the things I believe. Mm-hmm. It's not like I follow every single thing and I'm perfect. Like I write to work on myself too, just like I'm trying to help everybody else out. So. You know, you may see me out there or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like on my phone or whatever, you know, but I'll be the guy at the dinner table. It's like, all right, everybody, in 5 minutes, put your phone in the middle of the table. First person picks it up, pays for the meal.
Right. I've yet to attend something like that, but I think that's a great idea.
People say that they do it all the time.
Yeah, so it's the thing that's supposed to connect us is interesting that is actually disconnecting us all.
The irony.
Yeah.
So the exhibit Gray Tour, you had a sold out. What is it, like a show? We know it's like a cultural experience with conversation, but you had sold out New York, you sold out Atlanta, you're in Miami for Art Basel.
Yeah.
We're gonna go tomorrow. We're going tomorrow. But tell us about what you want people to experience from being able to come and hear the conversation that you're giving.
Really, ultimately, I want it to be like a healing experience where people have a safe place to have a conversation that's uncomfortable. Not just us having the conversation, but people. That's the purpose of the third book is kind of that. It is that it's having that uncomfortable conversation and addressing the elephant in the room. Okay. And Jay-Z has a 4/4 album where he says you can't heal what you never reveal. And it's dope. Every one of the books I wrote always come out again, living in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like giving credit to God, because these things drop on me and I don't have control over when I release something into the world and if it is able to like be relevant with the times. And you know what I'm saying? It's like right before a shift, I'm always there. If I released Gentlewoman today, it wouldn't do what it did. People aren't on that like that. There's more important issues to address. It's not just about self. Gentlewoman's about uplifting the individual. Right now, it's a collective thing going on, right?
Everybody needs to pull together.
Yeah, so the gray came at a time where it was just right in that pocket. Again, Bereola, same thing. It was ushered in right at the time when Jay-Z was wearing suits and 50 Cent was wearing suits. It was perfect. Came out with You're the Gentleman.
I'm sorry.
It was like it was all perfect pop, like cultural times where people will be receptive to the message. I didn't have any control over that. It's like God's movement, you know what I'm saying? Which further tells me like you're doing the right thing. Keep going. So the tour is really, again, for people to just like not only heal like in a way where you go to church, but also because people don't even go to church anymore. So why not bring church to the people in my own way? Not to say that like I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Really just allow people to heal and introduce people to my perspective. And hopefully show them the God that I know in some way. But it's also to be entertained and to look at some dope art and be inundated with art, from music to visual art to literature to speaking, but it's all themed around the same kind of thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you don't leave sad or whatever, you leave refreshed. You leave like you left that thing there, you discussed it. If you didn't discuss it and you kept it in, at least you kind of had a good time and let loose for a minute.
Do you have people like come in and are it like panel style, or you have special guests that come and talk as well?
I mean, it's not, it's kind of like what we're doing right now.
Okay, cool.
You know what I mean? It's we have Steve Canal for from Miami, we have Angela Benton, both authors, dope authors with great perspectives, and beyond authors, entrepreneurs, and really dope friends of mine. And we're all just coming together. Really, we have similar goals as far as like really trying to move. I don't like when people say like do it for the culture and move culture, but in real life,
not to say it,
but in real life,
it makes
sense.
It is. And
like,
you have some merch that says something culture.
Yeah, but like really, that's I'm sorry, that's my phone. But in real life, doing that, like beyond the cute slogan.
Yeah.
Like for real.
But at the end of the day, like it's still part of our lingo and what we're trying to do. But it's like sometimes overused.
Overused buzzwords like problematic and you know what I'm saying, like space. You know, I'm in a problematic space right now. I'm just trying to. You know,
the cool shit to say.
Yeah, like stop saying buzzwords, man.
But speaking of buzzwords, you said a buzz name. Okay, Jay-Z, the GOAT, Hove. Which you worked with him and Steve Style on what? It's called.
Steve Style has a. I mean, it wasn't like directly with him, you know, but Steve Style and Jay-Z have a advertising agency called Translation something LLC. Really dope. I mean, they're the ones that put like. Remember that Hewlett Packard commercial he was in back like years ago? Yeah, you remember that one? Hewlett Packard commercial with the laptop. A lot of the commercials you see where that company really infused hip hop in corporate space to where you see these ads
Beats with Mary J. and
you see like these ads like they started that trend, like they were much before their time, and then now a lot of advertising companies and agencies are doing that, but they were the first ones to really like incorporate the hip hop culture into mainstream corporate like oh wow he's doing it with this brand and doing so. You know, I did a real dope pairing with Anheuser-Busch for the Super Bowl. Really cool thing. Like before influencers were a thing, they had me doing some really cool-ish. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
A cool check too.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
For very minimal work. You know?
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
And I always kind of refer back to where we're from. But like you touched earlier on, like you were always like the black kid in certain things, and growing up in San Jose, I'm sure like when people find out you're from California, they're like, oh it's so multicultural. Why are you saying that? You know, because Miami like is very Spanish oriented, and yes, there's Caribbean, but that's much different from Black American. But how much
Hispanic? I don't want you to get in trouble with
Hispanic. I'm sorry.
I don't want you to get in trouble with
Hispanic.
But what I'm getting at is, do you feel like being from the Bay Area prepared you or hindered you in any way?
Both. Yeah. You I guess being from there, you totally get that, you know, it's this diverse place, but it's weird because it is, but you can still feel like singled out where you're like the only person in that space doing that thing. You know what I mean? I've always felt like that. I guess that's why I just do things differently. I never felt like
fit in.
Yeah, I mean, but not in a negative way. To be honest, earlier times in an arrogant way. It wasn't even like, oh, I don't fit in. I feel it was like arrogant. Like I'm better than everybody in this mentally in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like
the crazy thing is, I have a lot of friends from the Bay, and we call them rebels or outlaws because they do what they want to do because they feel like I can just do this. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm from
a lot of folks from the Bay are like that.
And they're black.
Oakland, San Francisco. I don't know. It's
because I feel like it's because we had so much at our fingertips and we could move how we wanted to. It didn't matter. Like as long as you had some type of revenue to like do it. When I say like move how you want to, we have transportation. We are in our cars all the time. Yeah. So if we want to go to San Jose, I'm gonna drive there. Right. If I want to go to the city, we could take BART, but I don't really have to.
You from the Bay?
Yeah. So it's just like I think that mentality is just like I have everything at my fingertips. So when I leave and go somewhere else and you tell me like you can't. I'm like
that doesn't. I can't do something doesn't exist. Like my LS number 4 today is that way, and that's why I'm just like it's a Bay thing. I just realized it's a California thing, and I let it.
Yeah, and also I think because there's all these cities in the Bay, and they're all different, and they're so close. You know, like Hayward, Fremont, Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Castro Valley. They're all like you get to them just like
instant access.
Yeah, but they're all different.
They're very different.
Everybody has their own flavor, and it's like that city's 5 minutes from Milpitas is right by San Jose, but Milpitas people are way different. South San Jose, East San Jose, North, downtown, and stuff, West, all different. You know what I'm saying? Like, even want to get down to streets and areas different. Everybody's trying to maintain their own thing and hold on to something, so I think we really stand on that in a way where it's like, this is me.
And just it also spills over into the music, because you have artists like E40 who doesn't have to be nationally respected because he can make his money in California alone. And a lot of Bay Area artists don't have to come to LA, or they can go to LA but not New York or Miami, because they can tour up and down the West Coast, go to Arizona, come back with a check and be like,
that's how Houston is. Houston's the same way. Yeah, that's love. I mean, you know, I don't know. There's something like when she said she's from the Bay, it's this automatic. I can't explain it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, especially out here, you know, like you made it out of the Bay. You know, like not in a way like I made it out of the hood or the project, but it's such a bubble. Like
it is.
It's a false reality if you just stay there. You know, it's not the real world.
Like we just we escaped the hurricane that hit here, and we both went to the Bay. I went home, and I was like, damn, I'm really like missing home. But then I was out there for a little too long, and I was like, oh no, I gotta go, because I was reminded, because I'm from the suburbs at the same time too. So in order to be in the mix of things, I gotta go to Oakland or San Francisco or San Jose. But at the end of the day, you just said it's a bubble, and I can grow up there. I still appreciate it. I still love it.
Yeah.
But for everything, you know, I like a little taste. Like you went to Florida.
Yeah. Best thing I could have done, yo. Like I would have been so way too Cali if I didn't leave. I'm already hella Cali.
Right.
I would have been like, oh yeah, man. They know what's up, man. I taught them all. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I left my mark on all the homies, man, and everybody got a little Cali in them after we hung out. But you know, it's a connection, yo. Yeah. It's an ill connection.
Well, I think
we got everything.
You know, we didn't even have to like phrase it in a way where we try to we cater to people that want to understand the thought process of the person we're interviewing. So how did you get to where you were? But without us being like, so how'd you get there?
Right.
What'd you do? So it's like so natural how you just talked about your experiences without us having to ask you directly. And I think like what people can take away from this, if not anything, is that you knew you wanted to be somebody, and you didn't know what, or how, but you still accomplished it in a way that was organic.
But you know what? It's not even that I wanted to be somebody. It's that I was called. Just like all of us are called to do something, and you know that. Like it may not be as like, I don't know, aggressive as mine was, but everybody got something, and that little thing that's be like when you wake up, you go to sleep. Mainly when you go to sleep, you feel it. And if you're doing the wrong thing, it'd be moving. You know, like if you're like working a job you ain't supposed to be, you're like damn, you know, that thing.
Shout out to that thing.
That thing be there. You know what I'm saying? I don't like the way that feels.
Right. It hurts.
So I gotta move on it. You know, so it's not that I like wanted to be some, like I was some, just like all of y'all are. Everybody is some guy. Like, I mean, come on, you're not just here. You're not just like living. You're not just existing. You didn't just wake up. Like it's purposeful. There's a reason, and I knew that early on, and I questioned everything. You know what I'm saying? Internally, I didn't like vocalize it. I just internally I did a lot of stuff that didn't make sense to me. What America teaches us, and it didn't gel with me. So I always questioned it. So I guess in the way that I even, something as simple as dressing, it all reflects that rebellion. Like, I don't believe what you believe. This isn't real to me. Like, I'm gonna do this my way.
Right.
You know, and I've always been that way. So, you know, it's really just a matter of like figuring that thing out and moving on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just moving on exactly what it is you're supposed to do. Because the world needs it. We all need it. You know, if I didn't write the book, if my mentor didn't tell me like, yo, you need to do this thing, if I didn't listen, I didn't do it, man, lives would have been affected. In real life. Real life, you know what I'm saying? Like, there may be some deaths, there may have been marriages that broke up, there may have been, like, real lives would have been affected in a negative way if I didn't respond to my purpose. You know how whack that is, yo? Like, that's a responsibility.
Yeah.
But it's not just me that has that. It's not just like, everybody got that. Everything, like, everybody has something that's not for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gifted. It fulfills you, It makes you feel good. Maybe you'll make money off of it. I don't like when people always pair their gift to like profit or like you may not. It's people out there that like, you know, mentor kids or like, you know, help in shelters or whatever. You may not get money, but it fulfills you in a way that money can't. But what you're supposed to do is not just for you, and that's the most important thing of why we're supposed to do it.
I love that you bring it back to God. I love that you keep saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, which is you got to be yourself. You're being true to you. And as long as you put God first, that'll definitely come.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
Dropping those jewels on us.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Happy Basel. Happy Art
Happy Basel. Bereola in Basel.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we out and we appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate y'all.
Wait, what is your handles?
Yes.
Bereola-esque on everything.
Bereola-esque.
You gonna have to spell that maybe.
Bereolaesq.
We'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
It's right there. Y'all gotta put it right here. No, it's right here. No, it's right there.
It's gonna be everywhere.
There it is.
And they can get
your signature.
They can get your books on Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, Borders, is Borders still around? Barnes and Noble,
Barnes and Noble.
Walmart.
Okay.
And on your website.
Oh, the ebooks too.
I love the ebook.
Yeah, the ebooks for the millennials, for the young kids.
It's like a long text message.
That's a funny way to put it. Yeah, the long text message. Yeah, everywhere. It's everywhere. But I really encourage you to get it. Not, you know, I mean, all the books are bestsellers. I'm not trying to like. It's not because like it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's because it is what it is.
It's because you're black. Like,
it's because it is what it is. Like, you know, it's people took it and that's their book. Like they made it that. Like it is because they said it is, and that's what is necessary. That's what's needed. So I don't like try to sell it or like just give it a shot. Read through like the snippets on Amazon or whatever, and your life will be changed, guaranteed. If you read The Grace specifically and you're not moved, you're like a robot.
I know I'm excited.
Well, we'll get to it.
Yes.
And we'll talk about it amongst each other.
We can do a book review.
Yeah, we can do a review.
Yeah, please do. I would love to hear from your perspective, like in real life.
Okay, let's do that.
We'll do it.
All right, we out.
You, yeah. Hey, because I tell you the truth. Maybe your friends are confused. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Go ahead and go. Baila, baila, baila. Go. Baila, baila, baila.
Blogger, artist, stewardess, rebel, DJ, outlaw, engineer, scholar, fashion blogger. I feel like a lot of people don't read it right or they don't get it. They just don't know. Like an anti-socialite is not antisocial. Like, you see us out, right? Yeah, we're out. We just never cut. You're not gonna get everything at once from us. We're not showing it all. We are on the scene. What we represent is just basically like the bridge between the culture and the